Yeah, it looks like I'll shrink it. It'll lose 70% of its size, I think.
Okay. Well, I'll go down first. Not being stealthy or anything like that, and I'll go down there and draw the attention of whatever's in the lair.
Okay. You're just gonna go strolling in,
Oh yeah.
right? Weapons pulled out, ready to go.
Yep.
All right.
Whistle a tune.
All right. You march down in there, expecting a fight. You kind of just go right immediately and turn left because that's what uh, I never can remember his name. Jareth tells you that's where it was at, and you go barreling around a corner, and there's nothing there but this giant pile of branches and scraps and skins and bones in a pile, and there's
The
nothing
pile
there.
of branches and the nest in the back is gonna have some.
They're not cave bears, they're hoarders.
Whatever. There was a big, warm body, bear-sized body.
Sure, there was.
Believe what you like.
I'm only teasing. If you
What
say
are you
there
gonna
was a
do?
baby cave bear in here, I
Uh,
believe.
I'm gonna go search through the pile there.
Okay. Well, using infravision, it's kind of hard to tell the difference initially, but your axe doesn't actually glow. No, you're not your axe. Your mace does. So you're able to kind of hold your mace over the branches, and you can see most of them are wood, but there is one large one that looks like, kind of like the branch that you guys were trying to break off. And there's also three smaller, little branches that all look like they're ironwood.
Oh, okay. So we'll harvest all of that, and I'll have everybody ask everybody if they could search around, see if we could find more or anything else of value inside.
Sure, I'll
Okay.
look around.
Absolutely. Yep.
You guys spend about 20, 30 minutes just rummaging around, and other than the ironwood, the rest of it is just looks like the bear mother had just rounded up things that made a nest or a den or a bed, somewhere they could lay that wasn't on the dirt. But there is nothing of value. I mean, even the skins of the animals are mostly torn to pieces. She just basically shredded them off of the whatever it was that they killed and threw them in there, and they're just piled up. Lots of bones, some antlers, and things like that, but that's it.
All right. Well, let's harvest up the wood, and so okay. So what can we down in this layer? Can we attempt to, or maybe outside? Can we attempt to shape the wood and use it to attach my axe, or is it because you kind of made it sound like it's something we could do remotely and that we didn't have to go back to town to do it? But then you're saying this wood is like metallic, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. Maybe once it's
So,
fallen off, it's not as strong. I'm not sure.
yeah, my implication was, with it, you were as yourself, you would be able to make one with wood. That was assuming that it was wood. But since it's not just regular wood, you are fairly certain that you would need to go at least go to the blacksmith shop and heat up the metal and maybe shape it to where the axe head would fit into it. It's something
Okay.
that you probably could do on your own because it's not. I mean, the part that's difficult is the axe head, which is already made. The axe handle, maybe balancing it out a little better would be something that a weaponsmith would do, but it's not something you can't do as far as putting it on it, and especially if you have the assistance of maybe of a blacksmith or a weaponsmith there, might help too.
Okay. Well, first place we need to go we need to go see the goblins to give them the extra small branches that we were able to, especially since they gave us that healing item. So, anybody have a problem with heading back over there?
No,
Not I.
No.
Nope,
Okay.
let's go.
So we'll head back over to see the goblins. You said there were what, 3 small branches in addition to the large rope?
Yeah, about the size of, probably you could make daggers out of them or something if you knew what you were doing.
Okay.
Bird.
So when we get to the clearing where we draw the attention, where we have communicated with the goblins, I'm assuming it's daytime.
Yes. If you're
Yeah,
going straight
so-
back, you guys have only been there probably where you're at. It's about a 3 hour. You know, you go there, it takes an hour to get there, an hour to get back, and you only spent like an hour there. So it's only been 3 hours. So 3 hours into the morning.
Okay. We'll go back there and again wait for nighttime again. And I'm assuming I maybe have assumed incorrectly. Was the tool they gave us, the flare gun or whatever, was that something we could reuse, or was that a one-time use thing?
It was a one-time use thing.
Okay. All right, back to Plan A. Dwarven song. No. I don't know. They were concerned with us doing the dwarven songs because they were afraid we might attract the attention of
Something evil from what, the swamp or
Like
something?
orcs or something?
yeah,
Emerald
So-
Meadows.
Emerald Meadows. So maybe we could try, and that's east of where we are, right? Or was
Yep.
that west? So that's east of where we are. So maybe we could try and find another clearing further west where it's further away from the meadow, and maybe try and draw their attention to there with my method.
Sound
I'm game.
reasoning to me.
Are you waiting for me to respond to something? Because I didn't hear a question.
There's no question. I just told you what we were going to do. Nobody had a problem with it. So you tell me what happens.
Okay. You guys can certainly go deeper west into the hills. Beyond that, I'm not sure what you're asking me to reference.
Okay. Well, we're
You
trying to
can
find
travel as
another
far as you want. I will need to know how far you want to go and that sort of thing to kind of get a better idea of how to.
No, I wouldn't say more than a half a mile from where we were. You know, it's someplace relatively close, just maybe a clearing that's further west, someplace that's at least clear enough where we could camp.
Okay.
But probably a good quarter mile away, further west, where we're not quite as close to Emerald Meadows.
Okay. So you guys are probably a half a mile off the road where you guys had been talking to the goblins previously. And then if you want to travel like another half a mile, which would be a total of a mile off the road, is that what you're wanting?
I would say a half a mile at the most. I wouldn't want to go further than that. I would say hopefully we can find another clearing, maybe a quarter mile away. It's basically sound distance. I'm trying to get sound distance away to where somebody yelled back at our old campsite they couldn't hear where we were.
Okay. So you guys go probably about as far as you were saying. You saying you want to go about half a mile further than where you're at.
Tops, yeah.
You get there and you guys come across this It looks like a statue of something. You can't really tell. It has a face and it has a mouth, but it's been eroded by time so much. It's also the whole area is grown up by vines and trees, but tied all along the little vines and branches, there's like these feathers and flowers and that have dried and died obviously are all around it, and the feathers and the kind of the style that's of that is looks similar to what the Gribley's people were doing with their the stuff that they wore, kind of that Native American sort of thing.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'll. Does it look like maybe this is an entry point to their encampment?
No, it looks like a either at some point or maybe now you're not sure. It's some kind of worship place for some being. You're not sure. You look a little closer and you can kind of see there's this stone sort of altar, and there's a bowl with some berries and again some more feathers and some bones and various other things are in it that seems to be given to whatever the being is, or that that altar.
Oh,
I
this appears to be as good a place as any.
Yeah, I just realized I have that ring of shooting stars, so I could send dancing lights or something like that up into the air to hopefully get their attention. That
That's a good idea.
would simulate.
Yeah, you can certainly do that at once it's nighttime.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna wait till nighttime. We'll wait here and kind of make encampment, and we'll wait till nighttime. And meanwhile, during the daytime, I'm not going to be quiet. I'm going to be singing and maybe trying to attract their attention. And then as we go into the night hours, we're going to try the shooting star thing, and I'll continue singing until they come out.
Okay, so you guys wait until evening. You haven't drummed up any of the local neighborhood, and got them to show up with your raucous singing, and it gets to where the sun sets, the stars come out, and if Malchus is still wanting to use his ring, he certainly could to full.
Yep. Yeah.
What exactly are you going to do?
Well, I could use ball lightning, but that's really an attack function. So shooting stars.
You shoot them into the
Probably
sky; they're not going to hit anybody.
That's true. I could also do dancing lights, which is kind of like creation of a bunch of will-o-wisps that I can just have them dance around up in the air. So the flare that we used last time, was it subtle, or was this thing like a big Roman candle?
It kind of went off like a shooting star, sort of. It shot off, and then it just kind of, it didn't go straight up and then pop. It went straight up, and then like another rocket, went off in another direction. Like it went up and then shot off, went off another 90 degrees.
Gotcha. Okay. So it was more like fireworks than it was a.
Sort of, yeah. It wasn't like a real Roman candle where they'd shoot off and explode in this big sparkly thing. It was like a artificial shooting star sort of thing.
So it was bright and big. It wasn't
Yeah.
subtle like dancing lights would be. So I'll use the shooting stars function and just fire those meteors straight up into the sky.
Okay. Okay, so this time, it doesn't take long before you guys notice, you hear the signals in the woods, but this time it's only Gribley he comes out and he's like, he's, what did you do? What was that in the sky? How did that happen? And it's, who is anybody answering him?
Well, I can't speak Goblin.
Yeah.
Is he speaking in
Neither
common?
can I.
Oh, he's speaking in common. He knows you
Oh,
guys
okay.
speak common, so he's asking all you like, who's doing the thing and the whatever happened when I what? And he's
I
asking.
just doing my best Doug Henning impression. It's magic.
So it's like, really? How did you? It looked just like stars. We can't. How do you tell me how to do that?
It would take years of study for you to understand it.
That's a shame. So why are you here at the mother's statue?
Well, we were. You had told us last time when we were at that clearing that you were worried about us being so loud near an Emerity Meadows. So we were trying to get further away from that. Since we used your device yesterday to draw the attention, I didn't have another one. So we were forced to, do some singing and use magic, and we wanted to be a little bit further away from the danger that you were worried about.
He kind of nods and he's looking at us and says, "So why are you here?"
Well, we had success. We were able to deal with the threat at the ironwood tree, and we were able to procure some ironwood. And you told us that if we were able to get any extra, that your tribe might be interested in taking it. So we've got some smaller branches here that we're able to find. I'm not going to be able to use these to repair my axe, so I was going to offer them to you.
He's like, "Oh, really? Let me see." And he's immediately just kind of rolling them around in his hands. He's like, "Oh, this will be great to use for," and he says something in Goblin, and Carthane can translate into blades. Night blades is what he calls them. You're not sure what that means, but that's what he calls them. And like, oh, I didn't expect you to bring them right to us. I thought you had, something that you wanted to do at the temple and save your friend.
Well, we definitely want to do that, but we're close by. The tree's not far away. So it seemed like it made sense to get these to you while we were over here, because I don't know when we'll be over here again. We may be tied up for many weeks um, dealing with the evil in the temple.
Understood. Well, you didn't have to do this so soon. You've done so much for us, rescuing us from the temple as it is. Take a rest here. Nothing will disturb you around the mother's statue. You will be safe here. Rest for the evening, and if you ever do need to find us again, just simply come here and wait, and eventually one of us will be here, and they can come find me. We all come here, often to give thanks to the mother.
I'll uh, I'll bow to the mother, pay some homage to it, so show the sign of respect to the mother as well, and and I'll tell them thank you, and I guess we'll get to setting up camp, and I'll tell them you're welcome to camp with us here. We're gonna have a or actually this is late at night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, we're gonna hit the sack, but yeah, if you I hope to see you again soon.
He says, "Well, I need to take this back to our village, and I will immediately see if I can't find our smith to see if he can't begin to fashion some knives for us so that we can maybe help someday with the foes at the temple."
We could use any assistance. Yeah, absolutely, we could make do with your assistance. And with that, we'll rest for the night.
Hmm. So the night passes without incident, as the Gribbly said it would. Nothing disturbed you. You awake fresh and recuperated from the travels that you guys have made. You guys are ready to.
I'm taking off another rat.
Okay, as I was going to say, make sure to remove a ration. And if you, I need to reset. Wow, that is loud. Sorry. Found something that's not as loud. All right. So you guys have eaten breakfast and broken up camp. Gribbly is gone, and you guys are free to make your way wherever it is you're going.
Well, I think, how far is it to? Is it a whole day trip for us to get back to the Black?
To get back to town, it is, yes. It's also a whole day and a half to get to the temple from here.
Okay, well, I guess it makes sense for us to go back to town then.
Yeah.
We can
I'm
stock
still
up
half
on our
naked.
rations as well. Yeah. So we'll head back, and I'll bring it to the blacksmith once we get there.
Okay. So you guys are on your way back. You guys make your way back to the road that leads to Hamlet, and you start, your long trip back on foot. You get about halfway there, and up from behind you see a guy, a humanoid, riding a horse, and there is a bundle wrapped up behind, and it's approaching you guys from the rear.
Just one guy on a horse, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll get off the and kind of watch him as he approaches.
Okay.
Weapons not drawn or anything like that.
Whenever he notices you guys, he kind of slows down and gets to the opposite side of the road. You're not sure. He's a little wary, but he doesn't seem terrified of you guys. But he kind of says good morning as he gets closer, and you can see that he's got a bundle of. The thing on the back is like somebody strapped over right behind his saddle, kind of tied down. And he seems to be intent on heading straight towards Hamlet from where you guys are too.
I'll say, "Ho there, Trav. I see you have somebody strapped to the backside of the horse there. We have a healer here. If you have, if your party member has an injury, we might be able to tend to it. We see you're on your way to town with great haste."
He said, "Oh yes, I must get to town for my wedding, and she's fine."
Oh, congratulations! And I will approach the horse to see this person that's strapped on the back and see if that person is conscious.
She is, and she is dressed in what would be a white sort of dress, sort of, but it kind of covers up her head because it's kind of all hanging all over the place.
And I'll greet her and say, "Hey, my name's Grimlock. What's your name?"
She looks at the guy, and he kind of just frowns, so and she doesn't say anything.
Okay.
Because she's fine.
She
You guys are welcome to attend our wedding after party at the end of the Welcome Winch when we're done.
What's your name, sir?
It's Jim.
Jim.
This is my wife, Mary. Or
Oh, you
soon
said
to
you're
be
not
wife,
married
Mary.
yet. Okay. And how did you meet Mary?
I bought her in Verbabonk. Yeah, well, in our times it would have been a mail order bride, but there's no mail order. But he basically bought a bride.
I'll ask Mary how old she is.
She looks, maybe just slightly younger than Jim. Not, much, but she definitely doesn't seem to have had a rough as life as he has. But again, she looks at him. He kind of just kind of looks at her intently and doesn't say anything, and she just kind of smiles.
Get down off the horse, Jim. Please.
He's like, "Sir, I must get to town. Our ceremony is this afternoon. I need to be there. She's got to be meet my mother and my family, and we've got to get the rooms all set up and
Jim. See, you don't seem to understand something. I'm a wizard, and you see this stuff here in my pouch, holding up this in a few syllables. I can turn you into a toad, or, well, perhaps a squirrel, or how about a codfish? Now, are you gonna get down off the horse?
so as you say, turn him into a codfish. He immediately gets this terrified look on his face, and he kicks the horse's flanks, and it rockets off, and is like immediately past the bulk of your party. Nobody is he's on the other side of the road, and the horse immediately bolts and is running towards Hamlet.
Okay, let's see.
That's why God made range damage spells.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what I'm looking at. If I can, anything I got that I can't, that I can use the. Well, I could magic missile the horse.
I
I could.
what do we suspect this guy of?
I don't know. It's fishy. I don't like it. He's a creepy old dude, and
His name's Jim.
his name's Jim. And people named Jim just can't be trusted.
It's your call, man.
I'm looking. I might have.
You're
I
much
tell you
smarter
what.
than me.
Let's
I
take
don't
a
have
break.
that person. Damn.
Let's take a break, and I'll give you a chance to think about what you want to do. We'll come back at 9:20. No, we'll come back at 9:25. I think that'll give us enough time because I need to let the dog out. We'll come back at 9:25.
Great.
Sounds
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
By the way,
Are
Mike,
we in town
I
then?
did get back in, and my inventory.
Your inventory shows or doesn't show? I didn't get
It's
that part.
fine. Yeah, it shows.
Awesome. Good. Glad to hear it. I knew. I kind of assumed it was something like that happened last time. So when we left, we need to get a little less of the forest day ambience. That's a little loud. But this one. All right. So what we were talking about is you guys, Jim on the horse with his mail order bride was there, and he was riding past you guys. You threatened him, and he hauled ass. And we're right there at that moment. You tell me what you've decided to do.
I am casting Shrink on his horse. Casting time of 1, and I can reach 35 yards out.
All right. So that is. Give me. And you're casting it on the horse?
Yeah. So where do you want me to drop through the cast?
There's not going to be one. I need to check out something real quick before we do this. right, so I'm gonna roll for him, and we'll see what happens. You cast the spell, and you you're casting. The horse is bolting down the road, and he's going just a smidge faster than the direction you cast the spell, and it just zips off into the woods, and you see a tree go and shrink down. He's saved.
Fucker. All right. All right. He's heading where? Back to.
Yeah, he's hauling that. He's going towards Hamlet.
Yeah,
And
okay.
you
We
basically,
gotta go to
unless
Hamlet.
somebody else wants to do one other range thing, I mean, if you want to shoot him with a bow, whatever, he is outside of melee range, and there is, unless you guys have some magic that I'm not aware of, the guy on the horse is, there's no way you guys can catch him.
Can I still see him?
Not after your spell is cast. He's running. The horse is bolting
Okay.
down the road.
So
I'm
he's
asking
out of
if
view.
anybody else, because he's going to go down the road and it's going to kind of turn off and trees and whatnot.
Okay.
I'm just asking if anybody else wanted to do anything.
I'm
That
not
was
gonna do
ranged.
anything.
No, nothing for me.
Okay. All right. So you just hear hooves pounding the dirt. Zooms down the road and cuts around a corner and out of sight, and it just eventually the sound fades. And he is gone.
Were
Jim.
were you concerned that he was forcing that woman to marry him against her will?
Yes. He mentioned that he bought her in Verbobunk. Verbobunk is is, as far as my understanding of Verbobunk, is that it is a vassal of the Archclerisy of Valuna. And last time I checked, I don't think slavery is legal there. So buying somebody, there's something fishy about the story, and the fact that he kept glancing at her and she seemed reluctant to answer, just got my suspicion up.
Yeah. Well, if they're really headed for Hamlet, we'll have a chance to speak with this guy again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Maybe get a straight answer out of the woman and find out if she's really a party to this or if she's an unwilling participant.
Yeah, separate them. Talk.
So, gentlemen, you do know that weddings aren't. It is not uncommon for a husband to purchase a bride and then be married. Part of the contract is the husband has to take care of the woman. So, and the only reason you know this is because you're religious. I rolled your religion check.
Okay.
And it's part you've performed ceremonies or you've been part of ceremonies or watched them, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that this is a legal sort of agreement.
Okay, I explained that to the party. I didn't know that until you said something. I tell everybody, hey, this might be legal. This
Legal or
this
not, if she
this
doesn't want to do it, it's not right. So I'm gonna have a talk with Jim when we find him.
I look
Gotcha.
forward to witnessing that. I'll kind of smile and start
Yeah.
walking down the road.
you interfering with something that is legal might not be legal, but okay.
I got your
I
back.
need to go to town and buy
Legal-
plate mail.
Legal and
So.
I have a long discussion. Not always amicable.
All right, you guys ready to hit the road?
So you guys continue on towards Hamlet. You guys arrive that evening, and in fact, when you arrive, the inn of the Welcome Wench, they have these these candles all set out around the outside. There's a string of white flowers, kind of all like on tied to a string all along the edge, and you can see people are outside. They're all dancing, and there's a guy on the porch playing a fiddle, and they're just kind of skipping across the front. And as you guys come around, they're like they're waving and saying welcoming you to the town. And They all seem to be having a big time.
So the wedding's already happened, I'm guessing.
Yes, you guys arrived well after. That guy was on a horse.
Oh, we're on foot? Okay.
Yes.
Is there free beer anywhere?
There is definitely a keg that's opened that everybody else is getting drinks poured by one of the winches.
I'm gonna go see Droon with the ironwood that I want to consult him.
Okay. Gentlemen, you're just going to have a drink and join the festivities.
No, I'm looking for the blacksmith. Someplace to
The
buy armor.
smithy is fairly close across the street and a little north from the inn of the Welcome Winch, but it is closed, as is most everything else in town, because it is evening and it's a giant wedding celebration.
All right, I'm gonna go join the party and start asking people who the blacksmith is. Look for the blacksmith.
You guys have met him before. Let me see if I can pull up his name.
That's
'Cause
what I thought. Yeah.
I think I can't remember his name. I'm gonna look. Hold on. I remember his shot. I want to say. That's the name. No. Yeah, I have him as an NPC. I've got notes for this guy's name somewhere, but most people in town call him. I want to say
Mr.
Silverarm.
Smith.
No, he was Silverarm because his arm is made of metal. His hand, like from the elbow on, is made of metal. So most people call him Silverhand or Silverarm or some form of that. And you guys have met him, and he's done work for Grimlock before. I think he resized some armor, repaired some armor, some stuff like that. Maybe even sold him some. But he's certainly easy to find after asking a few people. They just kind of point over into the inn and say he's in there with talking to Ostler, which is the owner of the inn itself.
My intention is to find the blacksmith and tell him that I wish to make a major purchase from him as soon as possible. A set of plate mail, which I looked that up and it says it costs, I think, 500 or 600 gold pieces. So that's a sizable investment. I just want to let him know that I plan on doing that.
Well, you go up and you see him and Ostler. They're kind of talking back and forth, and the blacksmith just kind of punches him in the shoulder with his his silver fist, and they kind of laugh about it. And they realize you're there, and he kind of turns over there, and you say something about, I want to buy some blah blah blah. He's like, oh, come see me tomorrow. Tonight is for celebration. Jim just got married to Mary, and he looks at you. He takes a second glance at you, and he looks up and down and roll the dice. Give me a percentile dice, and what you want is 35% or lower. And if you don't know how to do percentile, right click on the 10-sided, and then there's the percentile symbol in that radial. Click on that and then throw it in there. There you go. Aw. He doesn't have a suit of plate mail your size. It'll take him like 2 months to make. So.
What's he got?
And he tells you that, and then he goes back to drinking and talking to Ostler. He says, hey, you want a drink? Go talk to Susie over there. She can get you a pint of ale on the newly married couple. Actually, I should stop playing forest noise because we are not in a forest.
Okay, I get a drink and a room.
All right. Easily done. You guys have pretty much had your own rooms since you guys have been helping the town folks out. So, and so we'll go back to Grimlock, who said he was going to go try to find Jaroon.
Yep.
And you could find him. There is a small home that's near the grove that's over there where he lives. You knock on the door and you hear the growl of something large and furry inside. Sounds familiar. And he opens the door and you can see his bear in the background. And he says, "So, Grimlock, what can I do for you?"
Well, I've got a story. We were able to track down the moon goblins, and they pointed us to an ironwood tree. Would you like to hear?
Absolutely. Have a seat. I'm surprised you're missing out on the celebrations and the free ale at inn. I hear Jim just married his wife, Mary.
Yeah, we met Jim on the road. He was carrying his wife on the back of the horse, and she appeared to be tied down. So, my opinion of I'm very skeptical as to how he procured the wife or whether she was willing to go through with the ceremony. One of my party members is probably investigating that right now.
He's like, he kind of laughs. He doesn't, respond other than he just kind of snickers.
But alas, we're in a hurry to get back to the town. So there's no time for rest and relaxation right now. Now's not the time. There'll be plenty of time for that once we've cleansed all the evil from the temple.
Absolutely. So what is the story? And you don't have to actually tell him. You can just say, give the highlights of what you want to tell him. If there's something you don't want to tell him, that's up to you. You tell me what.
No, I'll just tell him that we found the moon goblins. They pointed us towards a tree, and we got to the tree, and we tried to hack off a limb, and we were unsuccessful. We tried with magic and an axe to hack off a limb, but the tree was like metal. But we were able to find a few branches in the neighborhood of the tree, and we gave the smaller ones to the goblins as a thank you, and I brought the larger one here with me, and I'll show him the branch.
He asks if he can see it.
Absolutely, I hand it to him.
Okay. Yeah, he seems to his one hand he holds it, the other hand he's just kind of hovering over it like he's like sensing something off of it or doing something. You're not sure what he's doing. He says, yeah, this will make a good axe head for you. He says, do you have the axe head with you?
I do. I pull it out my backpack.
He says, good, come. And he jumps up. He says, the moon is bright. And he walks. That's all he says. He takes the branch. He walks straight out. And he goes to the center of the grove. And he's waiting for you.
I follow him immediately.
Okay, so he takes you out there. And he brushes back his kind of, thinning hair. And sets the branch across his legs. And he says, put that, he indicates where he wants you to put the axe head. And it's basically off to the right side where the larger part of the wood is. And he begins to, do some chanting or some sort of intonement. He's saying something. You can't understand. It's, if you understood, if you were religious, you probably could pick it up. But he's speaking in like an old druidic sort of language. And as he is, the light of the moon seems to focus really intently on the wood itself, and it seems to kind of reshape the end of it where it was really narrow. It kind of widens out a bit and kind of gets towards almost the same length or width all the way around and shape, so it's a little more balanced. and then he indicates you to hold the axe head up, and I assume you do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm following
And
his
then he will,
directions.
as he is, intoning this spell or ritual, whatever he's doing, he kind of pushes it towards the inside of the head of the axe. It seems to kind of thin out and then spread out along the top and just kind of grow around and down back to the half. So it's not just pushed into the hole that would hold it. It kind of goes out and comes out around and grows around and comes back. So it's completely encased in it. And when he's done, he hands it off to you, and it feels much more balanced than you probably would have done yourself. He says that take care of that one.
I certainly will. Thank you very much. Is there anything I can do to repay you for your services?
Says you found my, and he kind of stops. He says, "Friend, Killa, and let me know that she was safe." That is enough.
Have you heard from her since we left?
Yes, we spoke several times. She is back investigating the outskirts of the temple towards Nulb. He doesn't know exactly where she's at. He just says she's not going back in because her disguise, her cover, basically, in modern terms, has been blown.
Gotcha.
And he says, now go join the festivities. They don't happen that often here. Everybody is happy this evening.
I'll certainly go do so. Thank you again for your assistance. Hopefully we won't need any more assistance anytime soon. If there's
All right.
ever anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to ask.
Nods, says good evening, and he walks off back to his bear friend, and they go into their house.
And I'll
So,
go try and find. I'll go try and find my compatriot.
Well, you find Jolman. He's at the inn drinking. What about Corathane and Jareth and Malachus? What are you three doing?
I would just be hanging out at a tavern, drinking and reading or studying. I do have a question. Like, how long are we looking to kind of hang around? Because I could get into some real studying.
That would
Are
be
we
up to
just-
the rest of your group. I couldn't say,
Yeah,
but
I guess that was a question for the group. Like, are we looking to spend just a couple days or what?
I would say 2 days tops.
Okay, that's
I
what
would
figured.
agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we were just resupplying.
Okay, then yeah, I definitely would take it light and just relax before we get ready to head out again.
okay. And Malachus.
Okay. So I will make sure that let's see. How about the insect cocoon. I will have the insect cocoon ready and in my hand, and I will approach the bride. What is her disposition like?
Okay, so you guys don't see. I mean, when you arrive at the inn, you don't see them. They're not there. Everybody else is celebrating, but you don't see the bride or the groom.
I'm gonna go have a talk with Ostler and ask him where are the bride and groom.
It's like, where do you think? It's their honeymoon.
I see. Are they staying upstairs somewhere? I take it.
Yes. Why do you ask?
Well, I just have some business with Jim.
Oh, well, you should wait till tomorrow, because tonight is not the night to bother him. Him and his wife are celebrating.
Yeah, unfortunately, it can't wait.
Go, Bill! Get him!
If you would be a good lad and please tell me what room are they in?
He's like, lad? And he kind of looks a little offended that you would say that to him because he's older than you. He's like 50.
Okay. So he's an older guy. A good
Yes.
man,
Yes. In fact, let me see. I think I've got an image of the tavern. Hold on. Yeah. I don't think I've actually pulled this up. That's Village Inn. Now that's the inn. And him and the silver arm guy are right here talking. That's the bar.
at the bar.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Yep. And the silver arm guy is the.
yeah, the blacksmith. But the rest of the tavern, all the areas that aren't behind the walls and doors, you can see there's people everywhere. People are standing around tables. You know, all the tables are full, and there's people standing around the tables. They're all just kind of chatting and visiting and laughing, and you know, all the people outside are the ones that are doing the dancing and stuff.
I'm starting to lose you. I think I'm getting a big connection.
And but the way he responds when you ask your question, he once you realize that you insulted him by calling him a lad, he tells you, sir, I'm not going to interrupt a bride and a groom on their first night together. So if you want to speak to them, you're going to need to wait till tomorrow. They'll be down first thing in the morning. Did you get that, Bill? I think we lost Bill. Yep. He lost voice. Alright. Well, he has to wait till tomorrow anyway. So, Jareth and, I know what Corathon is doing. What is Jareth doing?
I'm just keeping an eye on Malachus, making sure that nobody sneaks up on him and bashes him over the head. Takes care of his business.
Okay. Alright. So Malachus, Bill... Pardon?
I'm just keeping an eye on it.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Now we can, yeah.
Okay. Jeez, the connection's like yo-yoing up and down. It's green, then it's down to red, and then they're starting to go again.
And it's
So
it's all
the gist
green
of it-
here right now.
He's not going to tell me because it's the wedding.
Right. Right. And as far as, you get the impression that he does not see anything out of the ordinary with what's went on with them. So.
Okay, well, there's only so many rooms in this inn, so I will start climbing the stairs.
So you go upstairs, and the
And I will at each door.
1 second. Let's see, because I got an image for the upper floor. You go up the stairs, and there's just a wall of doors. One of them is yours, and you go to the first one. You open it up, and it's a 2-bedroom room. And when you open the door, there's like a person asleep, and another one is laying in the bed, and they kind of turn and look at you and say, "Get out of here!" And as you hear that, you hear somebody coming up from behind you, and it's Osler, and he's got a small club in his hand, and the blacksmith is with him, just got this grin from ear to ear, and he seems to be like, "Go get him, Osler." And Osler says, "Look, I trying to be nice, but you need to leave these people alone. Go back downstairs or go to your room."
No, that's not going to happen. I think he stole this girl. He's probably raping her, whether he married her or not. And if you don't get out of my face, you're going to be a toad in about 3 seconds.
One second, please. Oh, where is this dude? That's not what I want. This is what I want. All right. Give me a initiative roll, please. Because he's wheeling back with his club.
Yeah, give me a second. Okay. Here we go. I'll do that. Okay, it looks like a 4, I guess.
Oh, wow. This is a speakeasy bar fight. Wrong one to play.
I love it, man.
That is not the right fight. Oh, my lord. That was terrible. This should work. All right. So you guys both have a 5. And so you go in simultaneous. So he is going to swing his... let me get a club on him. All right, what is Malicus's AC? I think it's not 4. Your AC is
6.
6. So yeah, he's gonna hit you the same time you're you're casting Shrink on him, I guess. Again.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's gonna smack you with the club, and he is smacking you in the head because he's going for a knockout. So I need you to give me, what would that be? Probably a save versus. Let me look at you. Give me a save versus petrification.
Okay. If I can find it. 1 second.
Yeah, it's on the front of your
Here
character
we
sheet.
go. Yep. Yeah, it's a fail.
So your spell can still go off too, because it's simultaneous. I mean, I know it says it expired because you took damage, but they're simultaneous, so you both are 5. So your spell can go off, but you're going to be knocked out. You cast your spell, you get clocked along the side of the head. The tunnel vision, it comes and just gets to a little point, and you lose consciousness. But you need to do an attack. Actually, let me put him on the thing. There you go. So you should be able to see him and cast a spell on him.
Oh, there he is. Stop. Okay, got him.
Alright, so you shrunk him down. And you hear this laugh from the blacksmith, just insanely just laughing his ass off, just saying, "You're so tired," because he's drunk. He's just laughing at how small Ulster is. That's the last thing you hear before you black out.
All right, I tried. So now I'll start a campaign of spreading information that Osler supports this kind of female slavery, and I'm gonna find Jim eventually.
He's a trafficker, human trafficker.
Exactly.
All right. So
I
you got.
want to make sure that Malachus gets back to his own room.
Okay, I was going to say, you did say that you were trying to keep an eye on him. And this was kind of all an instantaneous sort of,
Right.
Malachus kind of smarted off.
The guy who-
Osler whacked him in the head. Yeah. Totally stand up. There was nothing. I mean, but you come up the stairs and you see Osler is about the size of a small child. And the blacksmith's just laughing his ass off. But he eventually moves over to Malachus and he ties a gag around his mouth. The whole time he's laughing. If you want to stop him or whatever, that's up to you. But it seems to be that he is restraining Malachus.
I'll take Malachus back to his room, and I'll make sure he's tucked in nice and safe. I apologize for any inconvenience.
I'd appreciate it.
And since he's a friend of mine, I will make any restitution that you require.
The blacksmith Osler just he looks kind of pissed off, but he's laughing as well because it's the situation that he's in because he's drunk. He said, "Just keep him in his room for the night. Let him sleep it off."
I'll do that.
I should have used a polymorph.
So I'll take Malachus back to his room, and I'll sit guard over him the rest.
Okay. The two, they go back downstairs. Osler goes back to the bar, realizes he can't really serve drinks, so he's standing on a chair, and him and
Can we get him a box?
yeah, him and the blacksmith are having a drink off now. They're just kind of losing their minds because they've drank too much, and now that he's been shrunk, they can't stop laughing. No, so they're acting like teenagers. All right. Anybody else?
Nothing for me.
All right. So you guys drink for the rest of the evening, and go back to your inn rooms that night after everybody else leaves, which is very late. You guys get up in the morning. Those of you that weren't knocked out wake up bright and early with screaming headaches from all the drinking. But there's a lot of people downstairs. It seems to be like there's like a buffet set up. It's still part of the celebration for the wedding. And the bride and the groom are sitting at a table. They're laughing and feeding each other and doing silly things. So.
Can I level up while I'm in town?
Certainly, if you want to spend 2 weeks, you can certainly spend the time.
Long. I go see the blacksmith first thing in the morning.
Okay. What do you want to ask him?
What kind of armor does he have?
For your size, I got chainmail.
That's it.
Yep. I can make you a suit of something else if you want something a little more protective, but it'll take me a bit, particularly if you want plate mail. That's a good 3-month job.
Guess I'll take some chainmail.
Says great. And the chainmail will cost you 75 gold, please.
Take it.
You should be able to bring up the items list. Go to records, items, and then at the top there's the little shortcuts at the top. One of them's armor. You click on the armor one, you should be able to just see the ones you want pretty quickly.
And then just drag it over.
Yep, drag it into your inventory. You'll need to manually adjust your whatever money you spend because it doesn't automatically do that.
Okay.
He says, do you need a shield with that, or do you already have one?
I have a +2 shield.
Awesome. All right. Anybody else? Morning activities? The rest of you guys have woken up by this time. Even those with a bruise on the side of their head.
I'm gonna go do some training exercises with my axe now that I have it back in condition. No, I'm just gonna be practicing with it.
Sounds good. Anybody else?
No, sir.
No.
You need to restock on rations. Just a
Yeah, I'm gonna
couple
get
that
some
we-
rations too.
Okay.
Rope, iron spikes, torches.
Yeah.
So, you guys are eating breakfast and talking about finding, getting a couple of materials that you need, rope and whatever else, spikes or such. And about midway through your meal, while you're discussing all this, you hear this person upstairs scream, and then a woman comes running down and saying, "He's dead! He's dead! He's dead!"
Let me guess, it's Jim.
No.
See, I thought somebody.
The bride and the groom are already
That
downstairs
would have been
eating.
awesome.
The bride and the groom are
look at me.
downstairs. You did it, you evil bird! No, it's not. You don't recognize the lady. I mean, you assume she's one of the townsfolk, but you don't know for sure. But she comes running downstairs saying that. And Ostler immediately leaps up and runs to her and asks what she's talking about, calms her down. Is trying to, anyways. After a few minutes, he sets her down and has one of the wenches sit with her, and he goes upstairs.
I'll go upstairs. Well, I'm assuming I'm not there. I'm out.
Yeah,
Practicing.
you're not. You're actually outside. Everybody else is though.
Any of you guys going up?
I'll go up.
I'm kind of curious as to what's going on, but I don't want to get myself attached to this thing. Kind of on the wrong side of the law already.
All right. Well, for those of you that do go up after him, you go upstairs, and he's opening like the third door on the right. And he walks in. The door is open, and he's got his hands behind his back. He's leaning over someone that's laying in bed. Those of you that kind of look in, you can kind of see there's this black. His lips are all black, which is not normal for a dead person. They're just like something is
Sounds
caused.
like poison.
Just quite possibly, yeah. And the Ostler, he stands up and he notices you and he says, "This man has been poisoned." And he comes up, walks up to the door, and he closes it behind him, and he says, "I'm gonna have to go get someone to look at him." He says, "Please don't disturb the body." And he whistles and like he's hollering at somebody downstairs, and starts walking off in that direction. And before he gets to the stairs, one of the boys that cleans the tables, the busted guys, he comes up and he says, "What?" The ostler to the kid, he says, "Watch that door. Don't let anybody in and tell me if they do." And he goes downstairs. The boy stays at the door, looking at you.
Am I inside or outside?
You're in the inn. I mean,
Right,
you
but
said
am
you
I
followed
in
him
the
up.
room?
No,
Yeah.
no. You know, until you tell me you go into the room, you're not going to go anywhere. I just assume you went with him upstairs and looked to see what he was doing. And he noticed you guys stand there, and he pulled the door behind him and closed it, and you guys were still outside.
Okay, that's fine. I'll respect him. It's his inn. That's fine.
But yeah, it definitely looked like some form of poison to you. I mean, as a priest, you're pretty aware of that kind of stuff because you guys deal with it on a pretty consistent basis. But and about 10 minutes after that, you hear another person screaming, "He's dead! He's dead!" And this time it sounds like a kid. And those of you that are downstairs, one of the stable kids has run in and says, "The stable man is dead." And officer's like, "What is?" And he turns around and he goes outside to the stable. And sure enough, where the stable master and the two boys that are out there work the stables have their own sort of places that they sleep out there. And he goes up to where the stable master guy is. And he's laying, and he looks just like the other guy. Black mouth, just dead. Skin's blue. Been dead for a while. And he grabs one of the horse blankets, covers him up, tells the stable boy, "Keep an eye on him. I've got to go get the priests." And he leaves the tavern, the inn, and seems to be walking towards the temple.
Well, I'll go out there and see what all the hubbub is about with this supposed dead guy. I imagine I see him covered up at this point.
Yeah, and there's a stable boy that's kind of standing there with a pitchfork. He's like, kind of poking at the body. He's not really paying attention to you. He's poking him like he doesn't believe he's dead.
Hey,
And then he notices you and he stops.
easy there. I'll tell him to step away.
He does. You're an adult. He's not.
Yeah, I'll go uncover the body and try to see if I can see what the hell happened here.
Do you have any kind of healing herbalism abilities, skills?
Hell no.
Of course not. None of you guys. But I mean, just looking at him, you have herbalism.
I do, yeah.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, you're not there. But for Corthane, I mean, even to you, it seems obvious that he ingested something or something went in his mouth that probably poisoned him because his mouth and even the inside of his mouth is black. His lips, like an inch, like a clown makeup sort of radius, is all black.
Wonder if there's any like open drinks or cup of fluid or something in his room.
Yeah, maybe some Vossler's stuff has gone bad.
Well, I'll just search the area, see if there's anything he's in a stable, right? You said?
Yeah. They're in a stable, but they're on the upper floor where they kind of have sleeping arrangements set up there for them, so they can take care of the horses.
Right. So I'll search the area up here, see if there's anything suspicious. I don't know, under anything.
There is a small table with 3 mugs on it.
Well, I'll collect up the mugs. Oh man, first rule of a crime scene is don't touch the crime scene. I'll take hell, I'll take these mugs over to the party.
Okay. By now, Grimlock, you've heard that there is something odd going on. I mean, you even saw Osler, making his way quickly towards the temple. The mood is kind of subdued now. I mean, the bride and the groom both still seem, they're kind of ignoring what's going on. There's some family members around them that seem to be kind of shielding them from everybody else. Some of the other people have kind of left. There's not as many people as was there before.
Okay, well, I'll definitely go join up with the party members to see what's going on.
All right, so you guys kind of come all together now, with Corthane bringing 3 mugs. So you guys can discuss.
Yeah, there's a dead guy in the stables. It looks like I'm no expert, but it looks like he might have been poisoned. I don't know if any of you have any knowledge in this arena. There were these 3 cups in the area. There might be some residue or something. I am grossly underqualified for this, though.
I don't have any expertise in that.
Yeah, I'll look to Malachus and say, what do you make of this?
Yeah, the most I've got is herbalism, so I don't know what I can find out with that. It's spellcraft, reading, writing, languages, swimming. So do you want an herbalism roll, Mike, to see if I can...
Yeah, if you want to try to see if you can... What is it that you're trying to determine from the mugs that he's given you? Or is it something else?
If I recognize anything about the... well, one is the content in the mugs. If it's just residue, is there any clues to what... Any identifiable clues that would give me information as to what was in the mugs? Are there any telltale signs of anything I'm familiar with from the plant world as far as, toxins and things like that?
Okay,
And
so...
also,
Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, and also if he, if he told us the nature of the death, that is, the inside of his mouth was black and stuff like that, maybe your herbalism might give you some insight on that as well.
Yeah, I'll relay all that. The guy's dead, face or his mouth is all black. It's not looking so hot. He's quite dead.
He's very dead.
He's about as dead as he can.
I just want to say, Lord Gosumba has raided us tonight with 35 people. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Wow, that's
welcome, folks.
amazing.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out who's killing people with poison. Thank you very much for following. I need to have Malachus. So you're going to be examining the mugs, looking for some sort of evidence of poison in the 3 different mugs. So give me a roll in the tower, please.
Tower, got it.
And we'll see what you can find. Thanks very much, Jay. Appreciate it a lot. All right. So, Malachus, you examine each of the mugs, and 2 of them look fine. The smells and the viscosity of the remains of the ale that's at the bottom is consistent with normal, but the 3rd one is got a sort of sappy smell, and it's a little thicker. You can notice there's a little sort of sediment that's in the bottom of it.
Interesting. Okay. These were the mugs that were found in the stable?
Yeah. The table where the stable hands and the stable master were drinking. The stable master is the one that's dead.
Okay. So, we should check that other room where you found the other guy. See, are there any other mugs or drinks around that have this sticky, showing it to them. you're looking for this sticky, sappy like residue, and take a whiff. You see that smell? We're looking for cups that have this in it. Can I identify, or do I have any remote clue as to what it could be? Would that require?
The poison type or something else?
Right. Is it hemlock? Is it the bark of the nightshade? what
Something like
would
it.
be sappy?
All right. Give me another check, and I want Grimlock. Give me a intelligence check as well, please.
All right. In the tower
Both.
or out in the open?
Yeah, both of you in the tower. Thank you. First things first, Malachus, you run through all the different herbs and plants that you're aware of, and you none of it seems to line up with anything you're familiar with. Grimlock, he leans over because you said it smells like this, and he smells it. It's like, oh, that's dwarven ale. That's how dwarven ale smells. And one of the waitresses that is, serving you guys, she kind of, her eyes kind of widen, and she's like, that's what the other gentleman drank last night too.
How many people were drinking dwarven ale last night?
Only those two. Nobody else asked for it. They were drinking the ale provided by the married couple.
So, Grimlock, in your experience, if non-dwarves drink dwarven ale, do they tend to keel over and get black lips?
No.
Well, no, I've never
Only
seen
the
that
really
before.
good stuff.
I've, maybe pass out, but I've never seen it have that effect.
No, and what he said is, he may brag a bit about, non-dwarves drinking it would, pass out, but they would not die from it unless they were just really elderly or something. But so yeah.
Okay.
About that time, Ostler comes back with the you see him outside, and he's directing one of the temple acolytes to the body that's out in the stable.
All right. Well, the barmaid's close at hand, so I'll tell her, make sure that you shouldn't serve any more of that dwarven ale. Matter of fact, wherever it is, you should probably put it to the side so nobody pours themselves some new stuff until it can.
She says, yes, sir. And she goes in, and you see her go into the back and in the kitchen, and you see Ostler's wife come out, and she's pulling out a keg that's behind the bar and pulling it away to the side. About that time, Ostler comes in, and he goes over and speaks to her and has a conversation. And after that they have talked, he turns and part of the conversation, you can tell that they say something about you. He looks at you guys, and then he comes towards you guys and asks, what have you guys discovered about the dwarven ale?
That you're serving poisoned goods to your customers?
He says, we would never do that intentionally.
Yep, I'm going to go check out the dwarven ale and see if I see any signs of tampering. I'm going to, open it up, maybe pour a glass of it, smell it, look at it. I'm very familiar with dwarven ale, so.
Yeah, as soon as you pop the top, you can immediately smell something's wrong. Most people wouldn't know it because dwarven ale to everybody else smells just really strong. But to you, you can smell the difference. It's got a sweet smell, which is not dwarven. And you kind of slide the keg around, and you look, and you can see one of the barrel slits looks like something was wedged in it, and maybe somebody injected something into it.
Okay. Well, I'll point that out to everyone, and I'll ask the innkeeper who had access who could have done this? Who had access to your stores?
Bet you it was Jim.
He says, I bet you it was Jim.
Probably
He
was
says,
Jim.
all of us, but everybody that works here would, but none of us would do this. Don't know.
Do you have any new employees?
No, they've been here for since they were children. I mean, the most of the he points out each of the winches. Probably an inappropriate name these days, but that's what he calls them. They were all they worked as kids that bust tables. And they grew up, and now they tend the tables themselves. And there are some other younger kids that do the bust tables now, but it's him and his wife, and basically anybody that's here has been here for years. He says the only thing you can think maybe somebody got to it before it was delivered here, or maybe somebody stuck in before the wedding because everybody was at the wedding except the tavern was empty. That was the only time the tavern was empty.
Well, why don't we rustle everybody up that would have had access to it, all the employees, and maybe see if anything saw anything funny. Anybody go in the end that maybe shouldn't have been there, or anything out of the ordinary.
He says, absolutely. I'm pointing at the room that he kind of sends you guys to. Thank you for the follow, Nighthole. That he sends you guys. He says, go under there. We'll get the rest. I'll get everybody that I can. The good wife, she'll be tending tables while we're in. We need to make this quick because he kind of motions. There's still a lot of people here, but we will cycle in the other folks that can't that need to stay out here while we're in there. But it takes them about 10 minutes to get everybody in there that they can. They range from 8 years old to 25, not counting him and his wife, who are older folks, in their 50s. What are you going to ask them?
Oh, I'm gonna tell them first off. We suspect that some people were pulled with some of the alcohol, from the bar, from some of the drinks, specifically the dwarven ale. And I want to know if any of you have seen any. And when I say that, I kind of want to be looking at everybody's expression and see if anybody seems surprised, or if anybody seems like, uh-oh, they're on to us, kind of thing. And so I'm just going to kind of look at everybody after I tell them that to kind of see if anybody has a reaction that might indicate that they were in on it.
Okay. Give me a wisdom check in the tower, please. So watching the expressions on their faces while you're telling them this, the younger of the people that work there, the boys and the stable kids, they their eyes just kind of widen. Obviously one of them already knew that somebody had died because he was out there. The rest of them were just kind of, you can tell there's some fear and some surprise in their eyes. The people that work in the inn itself, the older ones, the older girls, they seem to, they kind of lean over and whisper to each other, and they're all just kind of like looking around, not like they're worried about somebody catching them, but they're just like, they're concerned that something happened like this in where they work. Thank you for the follow, Necrobat. So, nothing out of the ordinary as far as jumps out at you as, this no curly black mustache guy just kind of snickering in the background.
Mm-hmm. So I'll tell them, when we went and so the two people that died, I'll ask who served dwarven ale to these two people.
There are two different people that got it served. One was one of the wenches, one of the ones that has been there probably the longest, and then another was served by one of the stable hands. He came out and poured the ale himself. Two for one for each of the. They have like what I would say like light beer, but he got two of the light beers, and then one of the dwarven ales, and the dwarven ale was for the stable master, and the two light beers were for the stable hands.
So, are there these two guys that that drank the dwarven ale? Is that are they normally the only people in town that order dwarven?
The stable master is prone to order that, not all the time because it's pretty strong. The other gentleman, they're not sure. The lady is in hysterics, but you don't suspect it anybody that he makes a habit of getting it all the time. But I mean, it's not something that people don't do when they're dared either. I mean, it's something so like drinking a shot from Everclear, for us, sort of thing for humans.
Yeah. What I'm trying to determine is if, based on these two people's drinking habits, whether it seems like perhaps they were targeted, that the dwarven ale was poisoned as to target one of these particular people because they had a reputation for drinking this and they knew they would be drinking at the wedding, kind of thing.
No, no. In fact, most of the waitresses, they all kind of look at you and say, the only people that would drink this would be your folk, out of normally.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to kill you, Gremlin.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Well, with that, I think we have to talk to the acolytes and the priest, perhaps the high priest, and have them examine the dwarven ale and see if they might have some insight as to the origin of the poison that was used.
Okay. Right. The ones that were out collecting the stable master have already left, but there are two that are upstairs that are collecting him, the other gentleman that was poisoned, and the two that are there, they're not aware of what poison would have done this. The two that are where you're at right now.
Okay. So why don't we take some of this to the high priest, or maybe do you guys want to go summon the high priest and bring the high priestess and have her examine? Maybe she'd have some more insight into this.
If you're asking all the people that are in this room right now about that,
No,
the people
I'm not.
that
I'm asking
were
the acolytes
Okay.
specifically.
Okay, like they just kind of like open their eyes really wide when you say summon the priestess, because nobody summons the priestess. You can request her. They seem very shocked that you would say something like that.
I apologize that I did not use the right words. Things go a little differently where I'm from. Yes, ask her to come. I'm sure when she hears what has happened, she'll be curious, regardless.
So one of the acolytes suggests that how about we bring the keg, and we will take a buckboard and put the two bodies on it and take that to the temple so that the priestess does not have to leave. She is elderly after all.
Yeah, I can help with that. I'll seal up the keg as best I can.
Okay. Yeah. You guys pack everything up and put it on a buckboard, and one of the stable boys gets a draft horse connected and takes it. Anybody that wants to get on certainly can fit, and they will take it all up to the temple itself.
Yeah, and before we leave, I want to show the innkeeper the part on the keg where I suspect that was poisoned, and I'll recommend that he check all of his stocks for similar signs to make sure there's nothing else that could have been poisoned.
Okay, he takes note of where you point out, and he immediately begins to search and and he tells his wife, he says, "Look for this. We need to make sure that it's not on any of the other ones." And they go off and start doing that while you guys are traveling. Alright, so you guys go to the temple. And the priestess, along with Turjan, are all kind of waiting for the arrival. They seem to be aware that it was a serious situation that you guys were showing up. And both Turjan is helping her around. When you guys pulled up, she pulls the covering over from the bodies and examines the bodies. And she asks politely if Grimlock will open up open the top of the barrel of dwarven ale, because she can't do it.
I'll definitely do it. I'll make sure everybody kind of clears the area a little bit, stands back, and I'll open it very carefully.
Okay. All right, so she does kind of like what Malachus did. The first thing she does, she leans over and sniffs. As soon as she does, her nose kind of crinkles, and she's like, "Oh yeah." And she looks around and waves her hand at Turjan and says, "Get me a cup." And he goes off and comes back a minute, 30 seconds later with a cup, and she scoops it up and she says, "Okay, you can take that and dump it out." And so she takes the cup of substance and she goes, "I'll need to see what I can find out from this, but make sure nobody touches that. Dump it out somewhere."
Okay. I'll carefully reseal the keg, and I'll get Jolliman to help me, and we'll go find a place that's not near. Basically, we're going to find a remote location to dump. I don't want to dump this around any wildlife, any people,
Not near
anything.
water. Nowhere
Exactly.
near water.
Nowhere near water. That type of thing. Be very careful about where we select to dump
Okay.
it.
All right. So you find a good place, and you're able to dump it all out. And by the time you guys have returned to the church, the bodies have been taken inside, and you assume they're being prepared for burial. The stable boy on the buckboard has been waiting. He asked if you guys want to go back to the inn or if you're staying with at the temple.
I'll head back to the inn at this point. I think the high priestess doesn't need my assistance on this.
All right.
And
Yeah, I agree.
And
I don't know what else we.
and also I will burn the remainder of that keg. I will break it apart, put it in a fire, and burn.
Okay. You certainly can, if you want to do that outdoors, especially since you have fire building. You can start up a fire in normal circumstances pretty easily. So, certainly do that. And then you guys are going to go back to the inn?
I am, yeah.
I want to buy a weapon. I need a spare weapon before we leave town. I just want to buy a
What are you looking for?
a flail.
Oh, yeah, certainly. Look, just the standard price for the player's handbook version of that. If you pull up the items list, you can get that.
Okay.
Make sure
I just wanted to make sure he had it in stock.
Thank you for the follow, Sir Warbash. Yes, he does. It's a pretty standard thing. It's like maces and clubs and long swords and short swords, that sort of thing. It's not an odd thing like some sort of weird pole arm. All right. So you guys make it back to the tavern, and everybody else seems to be a little. It's not as happy-go-lucky as it was, but it's still better than it was when you guys left. Everybody, the mood has kind of changed, and Osler, when you guys come back, Osler seats you down and has one of the witches bring you guys breakfast because you hadn't eaten yet, and he says he was unable to find any other barrels that were that look like the one that you had. They are going to be keeping an eye on all of their ales and food and stuff at a more closer level than they have been.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to sleep then.
So what is Malachus and Jareth and Carthane doing during this time?
Just waiting. Waiting to get back. I don't really have a whole lot to add to what everybody else has going on, so I'm just waiting to get back to the temple and investigate that place.
Okay. Malachus and Jareth?
Preparing for our return to the temple, I guess. I don't think we're going to get anywhere with the whole poison thing until they figure out what was done to the keg. So, yeah, I think I had to pick up some rations and stuff, but other than that, it's just resupply.
Okay. So you guys stock up some rations, pick up somebody was saying they needed a rope.
No, I was just calling off things that people might want to get in town. I
Okay.
have rope. I don't need.
Yeah, if you want to restock on arrows or sling stones and that sort of thing, you certainly can do so. If you are restocking on food, make sure to indicate that on your character sheet and adjust the money cost as.
Yeah, I'll also replace the hand axe that I nearly busted.
All right. So you guys have. It's still early morning, so you guys can, if you want, you can just pack up and head out tonight. Today, or you can wait till the following day to head out if that's what you want to do. If that's what you're planning on doing.
Well, I wanted to ask, Eric, what level is your cleric making? You said you needed a level.
Oh, I don't know. Hold on. I'm not even sure. I haven't even applied it. My experience. I wasn't sure if that was allowed.
You can apply your XP. That won't automatically level you up. It'll keep a running total of your XP. Looking at
I did not level.
I was about to say I didn't think you would.
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Just wanted to make sure, because if it was like a spell level or something, I think it would make sense to stick around and make that happen.
Yeah, he needs something like 20,000 experience before he'll level.
I wasn't sure what was going to happen when I pushed the little green thing.
Yeah, what it does is the XP that you've earned, it'll split it between the two classes that you have. So when you look at like XP needed versus XP for that class, so you have 45k on one, 55k needed to level. Just keep in mind that 45k needs to get to 55k, and you also need to split whatever you got to get to that. So around 20 something thousand. And that wouldn't even level your other class. Your other class needs more than that.
All right, I'm ready to go. I bought rations. I got water. I got rope.
Oh, I want to check with the high priestess before we leave.
Oh,
to
that's a
see
good
if she
idea.
was able to glean any additional information from the poison that she took to see.
So you're gonna go to the temple and ask what she found? Is that what you're just saying? Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I won't go first light. I'll kind of go later in the morning, maybe just before lunchtime, and check with her just to give her time. But I will go check that following day with her.
Okay. Yeah. So the acolyte will meet you, and they bring Turjan. He says that Yade is resting, but in our research yesterday, we were able to determine that it was indeed poison. It seems to be some kind of the sweet variety. We're not exactly sure which. Not that necessarily matters. We need to find out where it came from. But right now, all they know is it was, there's certain types of poison. Some of them are sweet, some of them are not. And this one has some kind of substance that makes it have that sweet sort of smell.
Okay, and so no indication of where this poison might have come from?
No, it's not. It's not like it was a poison used by a specific type of, like if you were poisoned. Yeah, it's hard to explain something, but like goblins will use a poison that's derived from mushrooms, and it's very common. This one is. There's no particular group of people that is tied to this that they would know right off the bat.
Okay.
I still think you might have been the target.
I think that's very possible.
I think maybe it's somebody from the temple snuck into town while everything was going on.
Yeah. So, I guess the only thing left for us to do is if Malicus, if you're wanting to go question Jim or his wife, now would be the time to do it, because we'll probably head out the following day.
Nah. I'll just keep an eye on him. I've got plans for Jim later. I'm done with that for now.
Okay. Well, in that case, everybody needs to finish up what they need to do here in town, because we leave in the morning. Make sure you, I'm gonna make sure everybody gets a good whiff of that stuff. If they didn't already get learn what that smell was, I'll have them go ask the acolytes to go take a whiff of that sample that she took there, so that everybody's familiar with it. So if we ever run into this again, people will know right away to stay away from it.
All right. Yeah. Everybody else that was there at the table when you guys discovered, Malika said the same thing. So you guys are certainly aware of what it smells like.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm assuming when we took the top off of a whole keg of this stuff, that everybody was immediately.
Well, you have to keep in mind that most of these people don't like the smell of that anyway, so they don't. You knew it because you know what dwarven ale smells like, what it's supposed to smell like. Normal people don't. I mean, Osler would, but nobody else is gonna, because it's like drinking something that's like 150 proof to somebody like me and you. It's just like, that's like gasoline. I can't smell anything. Oh, but just so you're aware.
Got it.
And I guess with that, you guys rest up for one more evening, and are able to head out the next day and make your way towards the temple. The road itself is fairly uneventful to get to the side path that you guys jaunt off through the east. You guys haven't been going to Knoll because of the danger there, so you guys are again cutting off early and crossing and fording the river that's there. And you guys meet up with Jarny and all the rest that are making camp there. and they're ready to leave as well and to proceed. And you guys can tell them all what's happening. But which area are you going to enter the temple from this time?
That's a good question. Do we want to try and go down that secret passageway that we came out of this past time and take us back down to the lower level, or do we want to go
I I think
top?
that's a good idea because that led us like pretty deep, right?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea too. Um, I- yeah, I think
Thank
that's
you for
definitely the way.
Yeah, I'm game.
the cheers,
All the best stuff is
Corey.
going to be towards
Appreciate
the
it,
bottom
man.
half
Thank you
of this
much.
anyway.
Yeah, I think that's where our business is at this point.
So what was the decision? I'm sorry.
We're gonna go down the secret passage that we came out of this past.
Okay. So just a reminder, since it's been a while, the secret passage is off the northeast of the temple walls. It's in a kind of a cluster, almost a grove of trees. Looks like the area itself looks to be like it maybe used to be a barn or a house or something around there. That particular building is mostly collapsed. There's a little bit of it still there, made of stone. The roof was wood at one point, but it's all rotted and collapsed. And the place that you guys come out of is a well. So when you guys get back to there, you can the well is there, and you don't see anything around the well, and there's nothing out of the ordinary as far as that goes. So I just want to remind you guys of what it looked like. I couldn't remember if we discussed that whenever you guys left last time.
Okay.
So we go back in through the well.
If that's the plan.
Okay, just want to make sure I understood that.
I don't. I mean, I'm assuming we get there at the end of a day, right? We've been hiking.
It is the end of a day, yes. When you get to the campsite with Bajarn and all the rest of them.
Okay, so we probably want to camp out on the last day and go in fresh the next morning.
Okay, that's up to you.
Keep watch, and I'm definitely gonna put a. I'll be on watch.
Are you injured?
Shouldn't be. Nobody should be injured at this point.
Borgen is, but you guys have been. Let me fix that because you guys have been in town for a long period of time. Grimlock, same situation. And it looks like Malchus has a little bit of damage. Oh, that was from getting his head smashed.
Yeah, he got bopped on the head, yeah.
Alright. Alright. So, yeah, you're waiting on me. The evening, the night itself passes uneventful, strangely enough. No specters visit your campsite. In fact, one of you guys still has the Darren's Instant Fortress, if you wanted to even use that. I think one of you guys actually picked that up, didn't you?
I don't think it's on my character sheet. But yeah,
it was something the party got. Yeah, one of you guys has it. I don't know who. I'll dig it around and find it later.
Yeah, it's not me.
All right, let's plan. Next morning, wet, foggy.
Going in, right? Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's
going
go
in through that secret.
All right. So who's gonna go down the well first?
I'll go down first.
Okay. All right. The ladder leads down probably about. It's like a 15, 20 foot deep well that's dry. I say dry. There's at the very bottom. There's probably like 2 inches of water, but before that, about 5 feet up, there is a doorway that is, in the well itself. You'll need to go down the ladder and open the door and go into the. It's a quite narrow passage. It's probably just wide enough for a dwarf. It's kind of short, so humans would probably have to duck a little. Elves, unless they're really tall, would probably be just right. Anybody shorter than elves would be fine.
Sounds like I'll be all right then. So
Yep. Yep.
I'll descend down and open this sucker up.
All right. So you open the door. It creaks open a little bit, and then you hear this loud bell just going. Bing, bing. I mean, can you hear all that?
Nice.
And it's not a mechanical thing. It's definitely as soon as it goes off, you're like, oh shit, this is because you're a thief / magic user, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
But
this
didn't
is
we-
definitely a spell.
So we came up through here, right?
Yep.
So that means someone set this since then.
Yep. And give me a hear noise check. Power, please.
Tower. Too many skills. There it is.
Tech noise or hear noise, one of the two. Oh, look at that! You made it!
Nice.
Wow, you actually put points in that, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
A lot. You hear the sounds of feet running
Oh shit.
deeper. You don't know where, but you can definitely hear it echoing off the wall somewhere.
I'll look in real quick. Is there is it a hallway? I can't remember what's on the other
It
side.
is
of
a
the door.
very narrow passage, and it turns left and right and left and right. It's pretty. I mean, so you can only see probably like 30 feet, and there's you look in your infravision, you don't see anything just in your immediate line.
All right, I'll shut the door and start scurrying up the ladder. Say, someone's
Everybody heard
expecting
the
us
alarm,
down
by the
there.
way.
Yeah.
Everybody heard it, not just him. So.
Yeah. As soon as I get up there, there are people coming.
All right. So I will maybe tell Malachus this might be a good time to use one of your spells.
You guys want to hate?
No, I wasn't thinking haste. I was thinking drop a fireball down the tunnel, kind of,
Yeah. Big fireball, not in my book.
or a lightning bolt.
That one.
Somebody definitely did this since we've been here.
Yeah, and let me be clear: the foot noises were going away from you, not to you, away from you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I may not have been clear. They definitely weren't coming towards you.
Well, that makes a little bit of a difference. Well,
Yes,
someone
absolutely.
Someone is going to warn somebody then. Well, I mean, we can either wait
Let's
here
bum
and
rush. Let's go
possibly
in.
nothing happens, or yeah, we go in and try to take it to them.
Or we just go in the main entrance and head down the other way and take them by surprise. It's like they're expecting us to come down this tunnel, and we go down the other.
Yeah, we could do that.
Maybe
I
come
like
in
that.
behind whatever it is. I don't think it's going to take us that long to make our way down there
Yeah, probably not.
if we take a direct path.
And I'll definitely check for traps this time, as they seem to be waiting for someone to come back. I wasn't expecting, because we've only been gone like a week, I guess.
Almost a month.
No, a lot longer than that. Because
Oh,
we
has
people trained. Yeah,
Trained.
at
Yeah.
least 4 weeks, probably
Oh,
more like
shit.
5.
Okay. Well, damn. I don't know why I thought it was way less time than that.
Okay, so consensus is to go in the main entrance now rather than the hidden route here.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
That's fine with me, yeah.
Do it. All right, that's the plan.
All right, so you guys adjust and make your way back to the temple, and you're going to go into the main temple entrance itself. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
All All right. The temple, it's dark, quiet. I mean, if you're looking at the desktop, it looks just like the screen, your desktop image. Lightning and all. It's cloudy, foggy, wet, but you don't see anybody outside.
Oh, it looks very inviting.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
All right,
Probably.
I'll approach the door and check it for traps this time.
All right. Give me a find traps in the tower, and then give me a percentile in the tower as well.
Okay. And just so you know, if it is a magic track, excuse me, I can't talk. Magic trap, I get a bonus of 10% on top of this.
Gotcha.
And then here's the regular percentile.
You don't find any traps. There's 3 entryways, and you might not be able to really see them from the image on the front. But there's the main one in the center, and then you have 2 side doors. The door in the center has been blown open. That's the one that was exploded open. The 2 on the side are just regular doors. So I am assuming that the find and remove traps is on the door that is on the right, because I always go right hand roll. So if you want to
Okay.
check the other ones, you certainly can.
No, I think if there's no traps here, I'm pretty confident in my skills. So I think we're safe to go in here. So
And we go.
yeah, I'll open this door and pause for the bell.
Strangely enough, you hear no bells.
All right, that's probably worse. But I'll head in.
All right, you guys make your way into the temple. And if you remember, you have the central part is where the pillars and pews and stuff leading up to an altar and a nasty purple chair. On the left and right are some small rooms that have stairwells that lead down into the temple depths. You've got left and right. You can go to either one of them. Both of them go into the same long hallway. Just depends on which side of the first level of the temple you want to go to.
Well, which way you guys want to go? I'm not super familiar with this place.
Let's see. Let's look at the map. Wilson, do you want to pull up the map for that first level down?
I can certainly bring up the temple.
Yeah, we'll take
one second.
we'll take the right stairway down, from that top floor, and go into the temple from there, and then head to the nearest stairway, which I think is to the bottom right. Correct?
Sorry. Clearing out some map. There we go. Alright. So, sorry. I was trying to clear out some masking that wasn't there before. You're going the west or east side? Down?
Yeah, we'll go down the east side.
Oh, we want the other map. turn the masking and not miss it when it goes away. Hit it, hit it, hit it. This is the first level map.
Yeah, let me close that other one. Yeah, so we'll take the stairway in the bottom east corner, southeast.
You're going. I mean, yes, you went down there. The piece that I've revealed is the stuff that you guys have seen before. That's where you guys come down from here, from the upper temple.
Okay. Okay. And I mean, we've been here so many times. The nearest stairs down, are they what's in the center there? No, right? I mean, all I see is a corridor here.
Yeah, these are stairs that go down right here.
Okay, so let's head down those stairs. I think that's going to take us to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know where that's going to take us. Right by the portcullis, where it splits to go to the Hydra room.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Indeed, you guys come down the stairs right here.
Yep, that's where I thought. Oh wait, this is not where I thought.
Is the portcullis open?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Now there's more of the map there. That's what it was. All right.
Yeah, I
so,
just scrolled down a little too.
Yeah, so we definitely do not want to go anywhere near that water temple area because remember that's last time they had like a big undead army there. It was kind of nasty. So what we want to do is we want to go west through that area where we got the owl bear, and then south, and then east, and then go up north along the edge there. The normal path that we take, that we've cleared out
I'm
before.
not sure why this is. It must have been that I had to reset the map masking. You guys knew all this.
Yes, that's the way we're going. The way you're clearing now.
I'm not going to sit here and clear all this stuff out. I'm just going to say you guys are going this way. You come up to here. You get up to the. You want to get to this is where you want to get to? Where are you trying to go to?
Yes.
There's also downstairs here. Both of which you're aware of.
Okay. I think we want to go down the big staircase in the center.
Second.
I don't remember which one of those stairways goes where. If anybody else has.
I don't remember.
I'm looking, but I don't remember any better than you do, Charles.
Oh, I thought you guys had been here too. So the one in the center is where the Screaming Souls pit was. You know, the room where you found the bodies, and that's where you guys came out of the nodes.
Where Jareth got a sword, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that's where we want to go, right? Because there was all kinds of stuff past that area that we never got to explore. Like, because we didn't we explored there a little bit, and then we were like, let's go back to town because we've been gone. So I definitely think that's the way we want to go.
Okay. The other stairway, I'm trying to.
I don't think we ever went down that stairway.
Good.
You said we
One
did?
second. Yeah. Go pull up a map. Where you guys were. Or I speak out of turn. Oh, yeah. You went down the stairs on the right side? You guys, last time we played, where you guys went down there, you went down that way. That? Bottom left of the map.
Okay.
And
Yes,
that
I do
was
remember
where
that.
the mushroom room
The mushroom.
was?
But we haven't been down that stairway you pointed to in the northeast, right?
Here? Or here?
Yeah, I don't remember yeah, right there. No, the one you pointed to
That
first.
one?
I don't think we've been down those. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Nope, you haven't. You have not been there.
Well, if you guys want, there's two options here. The southwest corner is not an option. I don't want to go that road, I don't think. But we could go through that main stairways at the top central, and then go west past the soul pit, and then take the north path out of there that went into the earthy area. Right, we never went past that. There was like earth on the ground and stuff. It smelled like freshly tilled earth. We could definitely go that route, or we could take the stairway we've never been down before. What's your preference?
My preference is the stairway we haven't been down.
I would say the same.
Yep.
Okay, stairway we haven't been down. That's where we're going with.
So the one here?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly right. Probably have a scout go down ahead. We're definitely, in unfamiliar ground here, so it's probably going to make sense to have one of the rogues go ahead and scout from here on out.
All right. So what we're gonna do is you guys have made your way all the way down to this section, and what we're gonna do is pause here, and so that next week when we start, you guys will be ready to start. But the hallway of the stairwell leads up. There is a door to your right, and we can do traps detection and all that when we meet up next